Good morning. I'm Brian Windsor. I'm from Ingram Micro, and I'm joined by Raj from Microsoft. Welcome, Raj.
Thank you very much, Brian.
And we're here today to talk about everything Surface, or as much as we can talk about regarding Surface. So I know today we want to talk a bit about AI and why Ingram Micro, and also why Microsoft. So really important. Also, we want to talk about why Windows 11 as well, with the end of support coming. So Raj, do you want to just take us through a quick synopsis of what you're seeing at the moment in the channel and feedback you're getting from customers?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Brian. So, as we're sort of seeing, more users adopting AI-capable devices, and it's quite interesting to see the sort of paradigm shift in how modern workplaces are transforming today. So, you've got a lot of customers asking for more powerful devices, or devices that are more flexible and they can sort of work with them on the go, different form factors, different performance, different battery life requirements, but more importantly, customized requirements, right? So, it's really interesting to see that with an evolving sort of landscape, especially given the sort of interesting times we've had in the PC market since the past few years, we're sort of providing more than ever now. So, a lot of channel partners are in fact in a very great position to, work with customers to understand their requirements, their infrastructure, their landscape, what they need. Is it the data? Is it the adoption piece? Is it, what goes in and around a device? Because it's not just a PC you're selling, it's, the value add. And that's what's really important to drive, that long-term value in the channel.
So how do you go about finding out what's important for a customer?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think, most customers, or almost all customers, want to drive some kind of value. Usually there's that business transformation piece, or, they want a device that works, is great in terms of cost, but also is secure by nature, right? Is built with security and, built in instead of bolted on. So, how we, for example, design and engineer and build these devices comes back to thinking about, the ease of use, driving productivity, driving collaboration, helping users have that peace of mind that their data stays with them, or, third parties or Microsoft doesn't have a view of what they're doing, right? So it's really important to understand that, customers will have, requirements change all the time, actually. So, for example, they need something secure, they need something powerful, great battery life, for example, but most importantly, ease of use, really driving productivity and really helping them get their best work done possible.
So I think a key thing that I picked up from what you were just saying there was actually security. Well, you didn't mention it's security. You kind of sort of went around it. Can you talk to me a little bit about the security side of things from AI and maybe people's concerns as well from that?
Yeah. So, as we're sort of really exploring, more use cases around AI and what AI truly means for customers and how they can actually leverage AI in, everyday sort of routine and or mundane tasks, it comes back to really simplifying tasks, actually. So, we think about security as that sort of foundation, right? The foundational layer that bleeds into everything that we do, devices, cloud services, solutions. AI is kind of like it's quite a beast, right? So how you use it really comes back to what the customer needs, and a lot of the times you'll see that it really comes back to intelligent automation or automating, the most sort of critical business processes. So break it down, is it some analytics you need? Is it some, workflow automation you need? Is it just driving, sort of secure design and secure principles, but helping AI generate the predictive analytics around that? So it's more about AI learning from the users, right? So it's almost at that point of time where we're getting AI to understand us and our work patterns and how we work, what kind of data we use, who are the users we sort of interact with within that's whether that's within our organization or external organizations. It's almost like creating a network, right? Having the right sort of data at the right time, interacting with the right sort of people when you need it, and sharing the right business data. But all of that sort of comes back to security as well, because you don't want to be, for example, sharing data that you shouldn't be. We want to make sure that everything we're doing is compliant and sort of adheres to regulatory sort of policies, and also, more importantly, you having that peace of mind. So from the time you log into your devices, is it Windows Hello enhanced sign-in, for example, that lets you in seamlessly, and you can go passwordless, for example, and that will really help you sort of understand, well, biometric authentication is really powerful, right? And then once you're in, right, then you have basically all these different layers of security built into devices. So a lot of customers, for example, may have, cloud security or access to all these different licenses that enable, say, Defender for Cloud, a Defender for Apps, or all those things. But, Microsoft provides Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. We've got, antivirus protection built in and enabled by default. So that really gives you those sort of secure layers. So, whether that's AI or whatever business, process or action you're taking with your device, it's all protected because essentially we tackle it in layers, like I said. We, for example, start at the firmware level. So starting right from Microsoft Pluton security processor, that's at the firmware level. Then we're looking at the hardware, looking at the UEFI platform, how we sort of kick in to security principles within the device. And then we go into the device or the cloud and the next layers. So you can see that, it's really built in, and that's what really, shines light on our powerful ship-to-cloud security around our devices.
So how much of a technical background do I need to have to really understand AI? Because you've given a great synopsis there of what AI is. Some of our listeners will probably be thinking, ooh, what's this, what's that? So how much of a technical background do I really need to be able to use AI properly?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Brian. I think what's really powerful now, especially with more AI-driven agents and devices and AI-capable PCs and workflows, it's all come down to natural language, right? So gone are the days where you have to be a developer or a software engineer or an IT admin to really understand how to operate these, AI-based apps and workflows. It's more about natural language. So, for example, think about prompts, right? Prompt engineering is quite top of mind right now, where you're getting your AI agent or, say, your AI assistant to feedback the help that you need, which means essentially you're typing in a prompt, asking it what it should do for you or how it can help you, and it's doing it straight away. So it's almost like understanding the art of asking the right things or in the right way, so that the AI understands it like, yes, I need this, I need to give back this data or connect to that user or simplify this or generate that. And if you don't like it, just ask it again and again. And it'll basically give you more enhanced answers every single time. So comes back to really, adoption, right? So I think end users, whether that's customers, or whether that's channel partners really enabling their customers, it's all about understanding the context of the AI. Like, this is what I needed to do in this sort of setting. And here are the things that I expect the AI to come back with. And that's how simple it is, really.
So are you able to just give us an analogy of how the NPUs are really helping take the power away from CPUs as well, and just give a bit of an example of that, just for the listeners?
Yeah, so, it's a really powerful time to have, neural processing units or NPUs, like you said, built in, and basically it's a dedicated AI chipset, right, in the firmware. And essentially what it does is it's to tackle these hyper-fast inference, high-bandwidth AI workloads on the edge. So you're doing that local AI processing on the device. But what's really relevant and valuable for end customers now is that, it basically takes off the pressure and the burden on the CPU. So basically it's, processing these AI imaging and video and audio processing on the NPU. So essentially now your CPU is got more space and memory and can work much better, right, to focus on the right tasks on your PC. So it's almost like you're driving much smarter efficiencies when you're offloading that sort of workload onto the NPU. So that's really, really valuable because now, what do you have? You've got much greater sort of speed and performance. You've got extended battery life. You've got, lower sort of lower power per watt efficiency, reducing latency so these are extremely valuable things that we all want in our PCs, right? We all want them to work straight away, fast, and have great battery life.
So I've seen some great presentations where you've obviously demonstrated this. Obviously, it's something we can't show today. But in terms of how I translate from the business world into the consumer world, because I think there's two very separate markets and how people understand it. How would you advise people to take what they learn in the business market and take it into the consumer market? So looking at the different devices and how we use AI from a personal perspective.
Yeah, that's a fantastic one. We've obviously got a range of devices built for commercial and consumer. And when we look at the commercial sort of use cases and how Surface or any device can drive, a business value, it's to look at, enterprise grade security around apps and, having these sort of, really extensible, powerful and secure platforms, because you've got enterprises and businesses really putting in a lot of local data, for example. In these new AI capable PCs, you're able to generate and process data locally and also keep it to yourself, right? So especially when it comes to hybrid solutions, where a lot of businesses will say have on-prem data versus, in the cloud, or they want to have a hybrid AI solution. So that's really powerful. Whereas, from a consumer standpoint, you've got devices that are really powerful and seamless and great to work with, but also, we've got different colors. So again, colors, form factors, the flexibility, the use, just being able to turn on a device straight away, it's in seconds, and also a lot of personalized apps. So think about, the creative angle. A lot of consumers would like to use their laptops for various reasons, whether that's content creation, whether that's, basically ideating or generating, images, videos, audio, doing everyday tasks, if it's as simple as browsing the web or using sort of your favorite apps, whether that's media, social entertainment, anything really. So it comes back to, again, having the similar sort of, experience, because you've got premium experience end to end, because, these devices are built by Microsoft for Microsoft, but more importantly, they're very extensible. So whether you decide to, use your favorite apps or use your PC for whatever you like it to, you've got a great and powerful performance and a great experience overall.
So with the Copilot Plus PCs, there's been some talk about not all apps for all organizations to be able to work. Can you just talk a little bit about how we can help companies circumnavigate that and make sure their apps can actually work on the new devices as well?
Yeah, so, the Microsoft Surface Copilot Plus PCs at the moment are basically Windows and ARM. So essentially, they've got the Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite processors running on the ARM architecture. So essentially, it will come back to, partners thinking about, well, what do my customers need? What kind of apps do they have? And the reality is, a lot of the standard apps, whether that's IT management, security, social media, your productivity apps, all of those apps, the ones that most users use, are supported today natively, right? So we're talking over 1,000 apps that are supported on Windows and ARM. So we've got that fantastic sort of Windows and ARM app ecosystem already. But the next question would then be, but my customers got, these very specific line of business apps, or they are reluctant to really share that data or sort of extend that app or build connectors, then what do I do next? So, this is where a lot of partners can come in and really assess those apps, their requirements, and really think about, well, I have to have a bit of an app strategy. So what does the app strategy really mean? It comes back to, well, thinking about, can I emulate these apps? Because emulation is a really valuable process, because essentially what we do is take, say, the Microsoft Prism platform, where you're, converting blocks of code from a certain architecture into the ARM architecture. So you'll realize over time, a lot of these apps even run much faster and better on emulation than natively, right? So that's sort of like the second step. And then finally, there is that, again, hesitance and reluctance that, my apps won't work, not natively. and not on emulation. So what do I do now? These PCs are probably not right for me. But that's where we take a step back and work very closely with, our channel partners, our silicon partners, and obviously our own Microsoft engineering teams to work closely around, driving those integrations, right? So building out integrated sort of connectors and plugins and maybe third-party apps where we can really leverage the capabilities of our ISV partners, for example, to come in and provide that in-depth engineering, expertise and provide that support. So, it really goes to show that we got a fantastic network of partners who are willing to help, partners who are not just helping build things but also drive adoption, and partners are also willing to assess what's the right sort of strategy and what will help the customer get the best results in the most cost-effective way to truly leverage the power of these new Copilot Plus PCs.
And that's probably a good time for me to mention the fact that we can obviously support partners with demo devices as well. So obviously from an emulation perspective, making sure the apps work, then obviously we're here to support the partner as well. So Raj, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure talking to you and getting your further insights on AI.
Thank you so much, Brian. Truly appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.